Good evening. This is the meeting of the Eastham Energy and Climate Action Committee. Today is September 9th.
8th.
2025. This meeting will be video recorded and broadcast over local access channel 8 and through the town website at www.easthamma.gov. I welcome everyone today. We have a habit of introducing ourselves at every meeting, so I will begin. I am Roberta. I'm the vice chair of the committee, and I'm standing in for Tom today, who could not be here. We're going to go around.
Vice Darcioni, member.
Olav Hegland, member.
John Boyne, member.
Looks like we have a quorum. And we also have a number of guests this afternoon, and so this would be the time to introduce yourselves, if you could.
John Muggeridge.
Gary Senecal, I am a volunteer for the ECAC.
And online, we have today Kathy Daw.
Kathy Daw from Eastham Part-Time Resident Association.
Hi, Kathy. And Harry.
Daw.
Yeah, Harry Swift. I have served with Shana Brogan on the Nauset Marsh Estuary Committee, and speaking with Shana, my background as a consulting geologist, she thought that this was a committee that I might be able to make some contributions to. So I thought it would be good to sit in and find out what sort of things you're up to.
Wonderful.
All right.
And thanks for attending remotely today. If you'd like to come attend in person for our October meeting.
Yeah. Unfortunately, today I had another obligation. As you can see, I'm in the car outside that other obligation. So I'll sit in, and what I'll do is I'll mute myself and listen in.
All right, that's wonderful. All right, so this is also when we have any public comment. So anyone who has joined us tonight who wants to add anything or make us aware of something.
So this is Kathy. I just wanted to say two things. One is I took a look at the document that you were passing out at the windmill weekend, that one page, the things you can do for your home, and it's just great. So I just wanted to tell you, whoever wrote that or put that together, it's really good. Thank you very much. And secondly, I have to leave at about 5:10 because I have to present at the select board meeting this evening.
Okay.
All right.
And that was Harry that put that together, I think.
No, I don't know who put it together, but it was great. It's great. It's really good.
All right. Thank you. Kudos to Harriet. You'll be right next door to us, Kathy.
I should actually have driven there, but anyway.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Next for public comment. This is your time. All right. Next on the agenda is our town administrative update. Unfortunately, Shana is unable to attend this evening. She may be at some point providing us with a written update, but there are a few things that I can share with you later on in the agenda that Shana might have anyway through her update. So we'll just move on until then. Now we can review the minutes of our last meeting. That was August 11th. Has everyone here had an opportunity to review the minutes? Any comments?
Motion to approve 11 August
Second.
2025 minutes.
Second that motion.
Okay, the only thing I would say is, John, I assume that there are quite a few, it's a draft. There's quite a few, some words left out and some punctuation issues.
Oh, really?
Well, that's what I got. I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe there was a final version, but
All right.
that would be, I think all the information's correct. It just,
Okay.
there's just a few words left out.
Amend my motion to approve with the grammatical updates.
Right.
I'll second that.
All right. All in favor?
Yes.
Aye.
Aye. The minutes from August 11th have been passed. All right, so this is a quick meeting so far. Let's see, now we are in our discussion, and I thought before getting into what's on the agenda already, we could do a little recap of Windmill Weekend and talk about what went well and what we'd like to do better in the future. Any thoughts on that?
The wind was a challenge. We had a lot of gusts, so we had tough time keeping all of the materials intact. But I thought it was a very good turnout, and I was very surprised to see how many people have taken action in some capacity, whether it's heat pumps or solar or, or deep into research and thinking about it and stuff like that. So it was a very positive thing. I was sitting at the same time last year, and I didn't get the same kind of feeling. So a lot of enthusiasm.
Wow, that's really
Yeah,
encouraging.
Yeah,
With,
Where were you located?
we were located pretty much the same spot as last year, I
In
think.
the middle?
No, sort of on the
Yeah,
whatever
yeah.
that road is that goes behind
Okay.
Depot Road.
Depot Road.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Sort of
Close,
right
close to the corner.
close to the corner, right?
Because we had to move from the,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was seemed to be a good location.
Yeah,
that's where it was originally.
yeah.
Yeah,
I was
but
there for him.
I would echo, I was there for the 1 to 4 shift with Tom, and I would echo pretty much everything that Olaf said in terms of wind. Someone actually got clonked in the head as he was speaking to me by the awning next door came whipping over. But he was fine. A fair amount of traffic. Most people who stopped by were attracted, I think, by our large sign that has all the various facts and figures about energy and efficiency. And many of them have already done something, most of them having installed solar in their homes, I found, most of the people who stopped. And several had done much more than that. Several had battery backups and heat pumps in place. So we were tending to get people who were already kind of alert and aware and active.
Mhm.
But we also got a couple of folks who were looking for us to maybe kind of expand our scope to some extent, asking about whether the extent to which we talk about food choices, for example, what people eat as a contributor to climate change. And another person was asking about anything that we do relating to the activity of landscapers and landscape companies. So that was interesting, and I made note of that. Some of the summary.
Did we not update Harriet's sheet to include the plant-based diet stuff?
I'm not sure what Harriet did with the update.
Oh.
I didn't.
Oh, I saw the final printing.
Yeah, I didn't check
Yeah,
it. But she was
Because we
working.
recommended changes, and I never saw this.
Right, she was working on it close to the date, so I didn't.
Kathy seems to have a copy on hand.
So,
Yeah.
She may have, and we could have referred to that person.
I went to get it. It does not have anything. The only thing it has that's sort of quasi food related is switching to an induction cooktop, which is how you would prepare your food. But it doesn't have anything on it rather, about food choices. It does have a lot on it about leaf blowers and lawn mowers on it.
Well, we can note this conversation of ours and
Yeah.
to talk about it maybe for updating the document or even include it in
Yeah.
some of our,
It's one data point, but it's a meaningful one.
both of those, food
Yeah.
choices and landscape choices that seem to be coming up.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
several people talked about the Cape Lawn, concept,
Mhm.
that came up.
Well, that's wonderful that you've really several of you mentioned that the knowledge seems to be
Yeah.
shifting a bit,
Yeah,
which, we're sitting at that table
Yeah.
past years, and often it would be just people coming up to say, what you doing?
yeah, yeah.
Huh,
Mhm.
what? So
Yeah.
that's really,
and then we
Yeah.
had the occasional, there was no such thing as climate change. and,
okay.
We didn't have any of those, at least from
I love
nine to
that.
one or 10 to 1.
So I know it's not my turn to talk, but I just wanted to mention this because before, so that I don't forget. There was quite a bit of conversation, but I can't remember. It was at a different table about fertilizers, about the use of fertilizers. One of the other booths, there was a conversation with a number of people about the fact that Orleans had banned the use of fertilizers to some extent, and that Eastham wanted to do the same. And I don't know if that falls within the purview of this committee or not, but it seemed something like it seemed like it was sort of a hot topic. So just to note that.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, well, it sounds like it was certainly a worthwhile endeavor on Saturday, it always is. I'm sure that you collected a few new names and
Mhm.
people interested in hearing from us, which is also very valuable. Anything else to add?
So,
Before we move on, I just wanted to mention, and I told her I would, that Eleni is not here today because her mother passed away this morning.
Oh, I know she was,
sorry.
yeah, Tom said she was sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, she,
Okay.
yeah, so, I think that Lenny plans to be back next week, and she says she's gonna try to attend the, One Summit, conference, but we'll see. It's been a tough year for her, so
yeah.
anyway. Okay, let's move on then to discussion regarding the green communities and climate leader update. I think Shana might have gone into this, but I can share, my, meeting with Shana and Rich 2 weeks ago, I think. Tom was unable to make that meeting, so I was the ECAC point person on that day. We got some good updates relating to how we're moving forward on this. It looks like the project at the fire station for its HVAC, for which Green Communities provided a grant money for. That has been completed, and all of the paperwork has been completed to Green Communities. So it's basically closing out, which makes, because it's closing out on time, the town can then apply for additional funding through Green Communities. And my understanding is the plan is to apply for HVAC for the police department, which I sorely needed. Apparently that will be part of the application process in October. So that's going to go forward. It's up to $250,000 from the state Green Communities if Eastham is awarded. So that's good news. And in terms of applying for the climate leader designation, we've talked about that a lot here. That is, of course, the next designation after Green Communities, which allows towns to apply to the state for funding relating to decarbonizing the municipal plants. And that is a multi-step process in order to apply for that. And two aspects that need to be completed is one is the adoption by the select board of the new zero energy vehicle policy for the town. And the second is the road decarbonization roadmap, for which town is getting help in from a consultant to develop that plan. All of that is moving forward. I think that Tom plans at the September 23rd meeting with the select board to communicate all of this to the select board and make sure they understand the process and why we're doing this to, receive designation or to make ourselves more available to quite significant amounts of funding from the state. In fact, if we can be designated by, say, 6 months from now, we could potentially apply for up to $1 million in grants from the state of Massachusetts. So obviously that's worth doing. Okay, so that's moving along. The deadline for applying as a climate leader is December 31st.
Okay.
So it seems like we're all kind of on the same page with this, with staff on that. Then it's just a matter of plugging in the select board. Yeah.
Is there anything in particular that you see as kind of a key hurdle, if you will, to get over in order to make that the deadline that we want to make on?
It seems the most, I won't call it a hurdle, but it's certainly an important step, and that is to have the select board approve both the decarbonization plan and the vehicle policy. Vehicle policy draft has been reviewed by the staff. It is possible that once the select board gets a look at the draft in their meeting packet,
Mhm.
that there could be a vote on it as early as September, which
It
would be
could be.
great.
Okay.
And then the final step really is that decarbonization roadmap that Shana has been back and forth with consultant on to finalize that.
Mhm.
Once that's finalized, then that can go before the select board. So those are the two things that kind of, issues.
The select board could vote as early as the 22nd at a meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah. On the vehicle.
Yeah. And yeah, that's where we stand on that. So all good things. Any questions or? All right, so should we move on to the residential clean energy home workshop? And John, can you take that?
Sure, yeah. We're planning, the stationary working group has been talking about this event. To kind of building on the model of the workshop, the clinic, I think we called it actually, that we did last year, which was focused on solar power, residential applications of solar. But in this case, we'd like to cover both heat pumps as well as solar. And when I say it's similar in structure, that means that this will be an event where there will be an upfront presentation that will be primarily designed to kind of update everybody on where things stand in terms of incentives, kind of confirming what many people know, primarily talking about changes at the federal level, but also emphasizing the opportunities that continue into 2026 at the state level. So that upfront presentation would do both of those things, so really kind of clue people into the opportunities that continue to be available. And then to talk at a higher level kind of about the logic that we think makes sense for someone who's pursuing, making their homes more clean energy efficient, and talking about sort of the set of steps that you want to walk through to progress from today, if you have nothing in place, to tomorrow, if you have certain other things in place like solar, like heat pumps, etc. So we're going to present that kind of logic as part of that upfront presentation, and then break down into groups, 2, perhaps 3 discussion groups where people can choose to sit in on a group that's focused on solar or one that's focused on heat pumps, and then we'll give every folks an opportunity to ask questions as specific as they want to bring. We're encouraging them to bring details with them about their own individual situation. This is part of, or a large part of what we see as the value of the event, is that people can come in with specific questions and we can give them specific answers during these roundtable discussions. And we'll give folks an opportunity to do that for, I think we're talking about half an hour or thereabouts, and then we'll give people an opportunity to switch, so that folks who are talking about solar can switch over to heat pumps and vice versa. So we're trying to make it a very tight agenda. We'd like to do the event within 90 minutes. We're reserving a 2-hour block of time. We've talked to the library. We have it lined up for November the 6th, which is a Thursday evening time slot that we're talking about. 5:30, I believe, is our starting.
Yes,
hopefully
there's
around
not.
the 6 would be when it would start. It would be advertised to begin, I think is the plan, although I'm seeking input. We're seeking input from the committee on that. The idea is to have a 2-hour block that we can work with as a team, but to have people invited to participate starting at 6 and going until 7:30. So we've got, in other words, we've got a little extra time to set things up and all
The
that.
library wants you really to be clearing
Yeah.
out at 7:30. They're pretty
Yeah,
strict about that.
exactly. So I'm trying to build in a little buffer of time that we have the space reserved. So that's the concept, and what we laid out in the attachment that was included with the agenda today are some of the key things that need to be decided, and one of them is someone to present that, make that upfront presentation. Tom has recommended working with Cape Light to find someone to do that, and I think that would be great.
Meaning somebody from Cape Light?
Yeah, I'm going there on Wednesday to meet to the board meeting. And I will ask
Great.
at that point in time.
Perfect.
To make that contact.
Okay. And you'll see in the attachment again for today's materials, there's what I call a blurb, there's a 1 paragraph summary of the event that you could use a lot to talk to this person. Although
Yeah.
we probably want a little bit more than that
Yeah.
for that kind of discussion. But getting that person lined up, we've got the space lined up already. We want to identify people to facilitate the discussions. And we've got several people on the committee and the work group in mind for that, and or people who have already agreed. Mike has agreed, Olaf has agreed, for example, to facilitate those discussions. And then we would like to have some people, at least one person attached to each one of the discussion groups who can capture some of the discussion. So identify the questions that get asked most commonly and the answers that we'll provide. And that will be one of the products coming out of this event that we can share for a much wider distribution. So those are some of the key things that need to happen and are happening to get this going. And of course, there's promoting the event. And we started off on that with developing the 1 paragraph summary. I would encourage folks in the committee to take a look at that 1 paragraph summary, see if it makes sense to you. If you've got any thoughts on how to strengthen it, then let me know. Otherwise, we would use that as the foundation for getting the word out through our partner organizations, including Roberta, I hope, Kathy, as well as the COA, as well as our usual means of through email blasts, and there are several other methods that we have used successfully to recruit people. So what we're seeking today is the committee's approval to forge ahead with all this, with the understanding that we've got the date lined up, the location, et cetera, everything not just laid out for you. If all that's agreeable, then I would like to entertain a motion that we get approval from the committee to proceed with the planning, including promoting the event in ways that are described in the summary that's attached to the agenda. And that's right.
So this is an opportunity to
Yep.
ask you questions, and if this is a discussion. I have a couple questions myself. I think, yeah, the time is
Mhm.
really, really important.
The duration, you mean?
Yeah,
Or the-
not so much the duration, but when you
When?
hold the event is really
Yeah.
important. And it's also the time of day when people are hungry. So I assume that you are thinking through that in terms of having at least snacks for people to get through that period.
The plan would be to have snacks as we've done with the
Yeah.
events in the library.
Is there, do we have a budget for that?
No, not as far as I know. That's, yeah, I'm not,
Yeah, so I believe that there is a budget for a committee, but I think some of it has been actually, quite a bit of it has been used this year, so that would be a question mark. About-
so we don't know what budget remains.
Yeah.
Or what, okay. How do we verify
I
that?
think Tom might have more information on that. There was, I know, quite a bit of funds of the small expense account that we have with the town. Quite a bit of it was actually used for the climate action plan focus group gatherings.
Okay,
So it's something that we have to follow up with to see if there's additional funding for.
okay.
And it won't be just food, but it'll probably be signage. Perhaps some other expenses.
Yeah, we can manage that to minimize the expenses for signage, I think, but food's an important piece. I don't know if the Friends of the Library would partner with them at all, if they did that before, for one of our.
That's a good idea.
The Kibla
Yeah.
Compact, that's been to events where they also provided the food and snacks. I don't know if that's something that is that we can ask them.
Could you ask? them?
I'll ask while I'm at the board meeting, yeah.
Okay. And then I guess the final question is to ask Tom what he knows about the current budget. And if there's money we can eke out of that,
Right,
because this would be the end of year event. Although we are on a June 30th fiscal year, aren't we?
Yeah. So you're at the beginning of the fiscal year.
All right,
So
well,
we,
some
we-
discussion about. that.
yeah.
As we know from doing these events. There's,
May I ask a question? Is it possible that I know this wouldn't be realistic for am I on? For the
Yes.
breakout groups, but would it be possible to have the initial presentation on Zoom so that it can be recorded and then and then people can watch that at their leisure?
I can't answer that definitively, Kathy, but I would think, yes, I would think that technically it's possible.
I think we did that for the
We did.
composting
Okay.
workshop.
We did.
We because there's available
Right.
resources
So
online.
there you go. Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll just make.
I mean, if you can do that, I mean, you said it was November the 6th. Is that the date, John? Yeah,
Yes.
so, I mean, that's getting to be a little late for some, for some part-timers who even ones who are here a lot of the year. And then we could reach a bigger audience if we had it on Zoom, and then I can not only promote the actual meeting, but also can promote the video and we can promote it on Zoom, and I can promote, then we'll have the video, and we can point to the video too.
Yeah, that should be great. The library is well set up for doing that, as you probably are aware. So that's a good suggestion, and I don't see any reason why we can't do that.
and would we, as we have with the solar group, be promoting outside of Eastham as well, encouraging people from the area?
No, we're not going to aggressively promote that. We're not going to turn people away necessarily, but we're going to try to keep the focus on Eastham.
Trying to focus on oil burning customers in Eastham.
Yeah. Were there any other questions?
I just had one more public announcement.
Yeah.
It's answers all my questions. I would just say that if I were reading this, I wouldn't suggest you start out saying who's sponsoring this, because I probably don't care as much. What I care about is what the event's about. So that should be the first sentence. This event is for anyone interested in either heat pumps or solar. So I'll start with that. That gets my attention, and then I can find out who sponsors it.
Okay, good. Makes good sense.
As feedback
Yes, John.
from the first meeting that you had, I went to it. And as a direct result of that, I now have solar in my house. So it was very effective. And one of the most important elements that I took out of that meeting was some of the local vendors as opposed to the national ones that could actually do the installation. That was helped me get over that last barrier before pulling the trigger. And as soon as we did, that quotes very quickly and was able to execute. So
You can do a testimonial.
yeah, but it was really effective.
Good. Well, and seriously, yeah, we have been thinking as a group about inviting a couple of individuals to participate who have been there and done that, if you will. Kind of like yourself, John, as people who we wouldn't necessarily ask you to stand up and deliver a testimonial, but to just be there as part of the discussion, to share your perspective on how things went for you. That could be a very valuable add if you or other folks like you were interested in doing
Part of
that.
the round tables.
Yeah, rather than. So.
So what are some next steps that need to, assuming that this is approved by the committee tonight, what would be some of the next steps?
Next steps, we've talked about working with Cape Light. We've talked about getting information on our budget for the food. And then starting to get the promotion of the event out there. And for that, the library needs a flyer. And I've done that before and plan to do it again based on what you've got here in the packet. So that would be another piece of the promotional material that needs to be put together. There's not a huge rush, but this week, certainly next week, is when it would need to be done.
The date's definitely booked. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, we have the space. And the space includes not only the main large meeting room on the main level, whose name I can never remember. Thank you very much. but also some overflow, smaller meeting space on the same level, to facilitate doing the breakout groups. So it's good space. It's gonna be a good one.
And then, of course, you have to get your volunteers for the evening, right?
Right, I have continued getting volunteers, and I would like to ask members of the committee who can help in some capacity. I already know two of the. Okay, it's great,
In any case.
super. So I was gonna talk to Eleni and Harriet as well.
Well, people that can gather the info at the table during the discussions.
Yeah,
If you're interested, if you want to be interested in passing your names on to, if you're interested.
okay.
Any other questions or comments about the proposed event on November 6th? Okay. Once again, you've done your homework, John.
No, we're trying.
It's like a great program.
Do we
Alright.
need formal approval by the committee to move forward with this?
You might as well,
Yeah.
since we're here,
Mhm.
right?
So I
Do you want to,
move that the committee approve proceeding with plans for the fall residential energy event as described in the attachment to the agenda. All in favor? Or no, I moved that. Sorry,
I'll second
thank you.
with that, we update the, make sure the focus on the announcement is clear.
Yes,
To the purpose.
and some of the other things we've
Response.
discussed,
Right.
yeah.
thank you.
I'd like to get oil in there as well too.
Okay,
I mean, it'd be nice to emphasize the people that are currently burning oil. To.
Have the most benefit.
They want to be interested in attending this.
okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
It is passed, John.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Okay, the select board briefing topics. Tom has been working very hard on this, giving it a lot of thought. For his 10-15 minutes, that he'll have before the select board on September 22nd. This is kind of our annual presentation to the select board. I think you received in your packet the brief outline that he has created for what he hopes to present. And it's essentially 3 items, really 3 main topics. Basically an annual update of what we have been up to as a committee over the past year. A run through of the green communities and climate leader opportunities and how we're moving forward with that. We've talked about that earlier. And then third, a update on where we are with the climate action plan. I think the decision has been not to get into great detail about that. The select board members have certainly heard about this over the past year, attended some of our gatherings and so on. So I think the idea is to just make them understand what we see as the calendar for proceeding with the plan, and that we'll be wrapping it up at the end of the year with the hope of presenting to the select board probably the 1st of January. And so any comments or suggestions that you'd like to make regarding?
He still has a lot to cover in 10 minutes.
It
And
is.
with only 5 slides, I mean, if you look on the
Yeah.
three itself is, an hour of discussion, so he's gonna have to figure it out.
Yes, yes, it is. Yeah, it's gonna be short. He did present this wonderful update on committee activities, and it just makes my head swivel when you think about all the things we're doing. I suggested that he maybe not go into this in great detail because he's not gonna have the time. He
Yes.
wants to provide,
Highlights.
yeah, provide a slide if one of them wants to read it, that's fine, but otherwise not focus too much on that. I hope y'all will be able to attend if we have that evening free. I think he always appreciates
22nd.
22nd.
22nd, Monday, September 22nd, which is coming up. All right. And then the final thing we wanted to talk about this evening was the invitation from the Nauset Fellowship at Chapel of the Pines. And again, I hope you had an opportunity to read Tom's fine outline of that and his thoughts on this invitation. So I'll open this up to any questions or comments you might have about this potential climate talk.
I don't have any questions. I was able to see, talk with Tom a little bit about this in advance. I just want to highlight that this is a great opportunity, I think, for the committee. It's a different kind of an event that's being contemplated, where there would be a bit of a presentation, but a heavy emphasis on discussion and kind of constructive dialogue about how the people who are there and members of that particular community can make a difference. And I think it's a great opportunity for us to put something interesting together and to sort of test it as a model for having similar events at other times throughout the year, I think. And Tom put it nicely in some of his notes, characterizing that kind of dialogue is kind of a force multiplier of what any one individual might do. And I think that's a great image, and we should build on it. So anyway, I look forward to doing this, and I think it's well worth doing.
Should be very interesting.
The only issue is conflicts with other.
Yeah.
Sunday mornings, a lot of people in religious services.
Right.
So that's when this is.
Right. That's true. I don't know if they have any flexibility on that. I mean, they must get that.
Well, I mentioned that to Deborah, because she also asked about, she owns an old home on Kingsborough Beach Road. And she actually, I got her name from my participation in the Energy Navigators that I'm doing with Orleans. And she showed up at the table in Orleans at the market and initially started this conversation and asked if we would participate and come up brief. And I said, since for some people it'll be an issue that on Sunday morning, but other than that, I'd like to do it. So I asked her if she was flexible at all times, but I never heard back.
It does seem to be the time they program, 10 a.m. Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what kind of the following that they have, that's when they expect to hear from fellowship. And I understand that they have a lot of online participation at their 10 a.m. programs. So. Is there anyone here who would be interested in participating in this?
Yeah, I would like to.
I think I would like to. I don't know, the more the merrier, I suppose, but keep it in mind as this thing gets closer, should we agree to do this. Does seem like Tom, again, is willing to structure it and kind of lead into the conversations. In terms of discussion, there's always how can I help, what can we do? And there's a laundry list of things individually people can do in terms of their personal lifestyles and so on and so forth. One thing we haven't talked a lot about, and maybe now that we're getting a few years under our belt, is activism, how people can actually become climate active on action. Where are the opportunities? And there's tons of groups. Yeah. So, and I would think that this group in particular has that kind of activist mindset. So I think that would be a really great place to explore how we talk about that and the opportunities that we can make people aware of. So maybe that's something I want to think through. So if nobody has anything else to share on this, I will open the question about voting on this subject, whether we would like to hold or be willing to participate with the fellowship, Nauset fellowship, October
26th.
October 26th, yes. Yes. So do I hear a motion on that?
Well, I'll motion that we should support it. I can't participate.
Okay, but that we will support it, yes.
Yeah. I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Easy enough. We're just gleaming right through this agenda for a change. Must be me. Okay. So the chair's report, we received it. The upcoming events, any questions about that? A lot of things coming up this fall. Yes, one other thing to mention to you is that the Cape Cod Commission is working on a date for a public gathering where the draft of the climate action plan will be presented. It's simply a draft, but pretty darn close draft.
Okay.
And
Looks here like it says 23rd or 30th.
no, oh yes, that is correct.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay.
Is that a just the committee or is that public hearing?
That's the public hearing.
Okay.
My understanding is that Helene and Steve want to interact with us before that.
Okay,
But I
Yeah.
think right now that the commission's very focused on their one summit conference. And
yeah,
once that's finished,
Mhm.
they can start moving into
Mhm.
rep.
Yeah.
So I anticipate us hearing from them before whatever date this workshop is.
Yeah.
That, we've got a chance to look at it. Just for your information, I think that they're, in terms of presenting the strategies, it'll be very much like the commission's Cape Cod climate action plan, but one that they've completed 5 years ago.
Mhm.
It'll be this kind of the same sectors, energy,
right,
building, natural resources.
adaptation.
Yes,
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 yes.
yeah.
By
the way, I'm attending as part of being on the board of the CLC, Cape Cod Compact. They are actually funding all the board members to go to the One Cape conference. So that's the reason why I am getting involved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I was gonna say, we have 4 of members of this committee
Yeah.
now scheduled to attend, which is remarkable.
It is.
We should coordinate in terms of how we cover. the
Yes.
event, right?
Yeah.
Cause there'll be,
I looked this morning and the One Cape Summit outline is on their
Yeah.
site.
Yeah.
But I just looked up, I am participating in a breakout session called Accelerating Climate Action Projects in Progress from Across the Region. So I hope one of you will attend that. I'm a panelist.
Yeah, I already had my eyes on that.
Yeah.
Laura, but
Yeah,
but I
it's-
think it's a good idea, John, to sort of make sure that we have
Yeah.
coverage on all the different kinds of.
I know there are overlapping
Yeah.
events and.
There seems to be a big emphasis, and it's very natural, on housing
Yeah.
at this particular conference. And I really do believe that that's something that we need to bring into our discussions much more, how climate affects the housing issue.
Mhm.
So it'll be really, really good material to come back with, I think. Cheers report. Any question about the chair's report? Anything else? The request for town support in terms of the online material, that's still in motion. But my question for you, since we do this every month, is there anything else that we want to be requesting, particularly relating to those events that are coming up? Particularly relating to that workshop, maybe we need to start thinking about what we want to be able to give the town for the website on that.
What we want to be able to give the town.
Well, in terms of promotion.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think it starts with what we have here, right? When you say give the town, and the town can then turn around and use in the email blast in particular.
Right, just the timing on that, because it does take a while. She likes to have a month out,
Right.
so.
So I mean, I think we can edit what's there based on, what you said in particular, and use that, I would think.
It should be consistent with how else you're gonna publish it.
Right.
Yeah, maybe get it to Tom as soon as possible, only so that you have really a lot of leeway for her time to do this, what I'm saying.
Yeah, get it to
Getting it to Kayla.
Kayla.
Yes.
Yeah, if I said Tom.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
I mean,
right.
how's their conflict, right? So,
and, yeah, yes, and I was gonna ask Shana about that, but that's a separate. Separate. Yes, no, we can get it to Kayla this week. I don't see any reason why not. We, yeah.
was there anything else?
I just have I'll be going to the CVEC annual meeting on the 25th of this month.
September 25th.
Cape Cod
Personally, or
Brogan.
is it online?
It's either
Uh-huh.
probably participating remotely. Since we tend to do that, so
I hope you'll report in October on that.
yeah, I can report on the, I think it was the 20th, is that our next week?
Yeah.
And then one thing to wear too, that I met with Rich Yemenu Friday. Well, I guess a week ago, last Friday, with a representative from Select. Select is a company that works with Power Options, which is licensed by the state of Massachusetts. It's one of their financial PPA, power purchase agreement, authorization companies that is able to coordinate all that activity. And they will be they just gave a draft of a proposal to the town about developing additional solar.
Just this last week they did that.
Just, yeah. So Rich has got the proposal. It's basically for them to come in and assess the opportunities based upon where our priorities are, and then come back with, proposed projects. That would make that happen.
Have you seen it?
Yes,
And
yeah, it's pretty broad, and, right now it gives, but all they're asking is for the town's permission for their people to come in, evaluate the various sites, and then come back with proposals. That's.
first step, it's a good one.
And they're the company that are currently doing the, will be doing the canopy project at Cape Tech in Harwich. That's over with electric buses, community parking and the chargers. Electric buses and chargers, so about half a megawatt, system over at the Cape Tech.
So they are proposing to do a variation on what?
Well, they're gonna look at this campus here,
Yeah,
canopy in the parking lot area, the
Okay.
police, fire, and the town hall roofs. And they'll give a proposal on that, and they're gonna look at storage, which is interested in doing storage as well. So the energy storage as well as solar production. Also the transfer station, and Rich had asked whether we felt we needed, right now our power purchase agreement for the landfill is coming up in another about 5 years or so. So his question was, for modernizing that, since the panels there are almost over a dozen years old, we can probably double or triple the amount of power that they're putting out right now in the same area. So, they would come in and take a look at that, and also look at any issues with respect to the feeder on Old Orchard Road and Eversource, and so they'll do all of that and give us a control.
So, and it's all leasing, there's no purchase.
Right, well, they have options to purchase, and, they'll tell us what that may be. But I think for the most part, right now, I believe we're looking at leasing. Since I think we're deep in purchases with respect to the wastewater treatment and. So,
That's
so
good.
it's a nice compliment to the work that we did and provided, which laid out.
yeah,
some of the
they were
possible-
given a copy of
They were, okay,
the work that Tom, the document that Tom put together
Yeah.
on ranking the certain opportunities
okay.
that we offer.
And for commercial projects, the deadline is next year, right? At the end of next year,
Well, it's actually end of 27,
2027.
right?
Yeah.
What is the deadline?
Well, the tax credit incentive
Oh, the tax.
at the federal level, they have to have, they're still arguing. Well, what percentage has to be complete by the date? But hopefully will qualify. Or if we can get this ironed out within, several months. We still have time to, get that.
It's actually a Soltech that gets the credits, but they.
Right, they fast
reflect
tax
that
savings
back
on
into- Yeah.
in our PPA, right?
Uh-huh.
And Soltech has also been stockpiling equipment, making solar panels and a megawatt of solar panels and inverters weekly. For the
Weekly?
business, weekly, right.
Not necessarily.
So they're trying to avoid potential tariff or surcharge issues
Yeah.
to our wonderful people in Washington.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Well,
That's all.
where there's a will, there's a way, as we say. Okay. Any other questions about the town report or anything you want to bring up? I'm sorry, the chair's report.
No. No.
Next step is member and liaison updates. Maybe Olaf, this would be a good time for you to tell
Yeah.
us about your meeting.
Yeah, so I attended the, it was basically a wildfire event in Truro. And there was a nice write-up in the Peton Independent, by the way, about the event, and I think the article itself covers most of the stuff that was discussed there. But I think some of the key points that I took away from that is that there is obviously out of the 43,000 acres that the National Seashore has, about 18,500 is kind of burnable, sort of subject to management. And management has been since essentially logging on the Cape stopped there around 1950. And since then, the underbrush and all that stuff has just grown. And there's the superintendent said it's not an urgent, it's urgent, but it's not, panic time in terms of managing that. Unfortunately, as we all expect, she presented, Superintendent Flynn presented kind of the scenario that, we're not expecting a lot of funding coming to help with this from the federal government. And the towns on the Outer Cape, one thing I learned from this is that there's a tremendous amount of cooperation between the towns and the National Seashore. Mutual aid is very much in effect. But even so, just to be able to do, to clear the brush or to do controlled burns, also opens up other problems. People, complain about smoke and things like that. So there needs to be some form of education around this. Clearly, and one of the reasons why also the Cape Cod National Seashore is not as highly prioritized for wildfire management is because we don't have the same conditions as some of the parks in the West, in California and other places, Arizona, where you have, spontaneous fires just occurring. Whereas most fires here are man-made, essentially. And so there's a couple of lessons that she took with us from the Shenandoah National Park, which is that there's a volunteer activity was very prevalent, and also funding through a philanthropic organizations. There is a friend of the National Seashore, and she's looking into whether or not that could become, a philanthropic arm to help fund some of the things that, that needs to be done, around
Volunteer
the.
force as well.
Exactly. And there used to be a volunteer force, but that kind of, the management of that force ended up disappearing when David Crary, the last sort of fire marshal for the Seashore, retired. And since then, it has not really picked up again. But they said that people they called themselves the woodchucks, and they would go out and play a brush, and they got too many people that were willing to volunteer, so they had to stop asking, essentially. So was a very popular program. So there's thoughts about bringing some of that stuff back and open up those opportunities for people.
But it seems to me it's a prime topic for climate resilience.
Oh yeah,
Right?
absolutely.
I mean,
Absolutely.
it's gotta be
Yeah.
part of our Cape Cod Commission's report that we have a risk
We have a risk.
in resiliency
Yeah.
due to wildfires.
Mhm.
And so
Yeah.
we've got to figure out how do we address it.
Yeah.
And collaboratively with Truro and Provincetown. I mean, that's what we're talking about.
Let's
You also got Brewster.
earmark that discussion for when we do
Yeah.
review the draft.
Yeah.
And Olaf, can you say again how this event was sponsored?
It was sponsored by the Truro Fire Department and the Truro Climate Action Committee.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's and I think I didn't know about it, but Roberta asked me to attend because nobody on the adaptation, so I working
I
group
see.
could attend.
Got it.
So I picked up a lot of materials. There are services that are offered for free to have people come out and basically make an assessment of your property in terms of priorities that you should be taking. And there's like different zones, gutters, embers can hit, leaves in the gutter and that can, flare up. So there's a lot of different things that, I think that people may or may not be thinking about on a regular basis that, are really critical ways of defending your property.
It's the 5-foot rule.
Yeah.
That,
Exactly.
California's been implementing.
Yeah, and there's a brochures and information that I handed over to the working group.
In California now, just recently required that everyone selling property had to provide the potential buyers with a wildfire evaluation assessment of their property. And what they've done or what they haven't done, and prices are going up and down depending upon what the homeowner is.
Yeah, it's interesting. We really weren't talking about this.
Yeah.
Last year.
Unfortunately, we Americans typically are reactionary rather than proactive.
Maybe it's
And
different.
everything that we do,
Mhm.
and what we spend federal money and tax dollars, it's after a major event where we decide to spend money. Not before, and we know it's a real issue.
Yeah.
Well, thank you all.
But it was a very positive thing, and I got the feeling that the fire departments all the way up, that are adjacent to the seashore, very much cooperating and collaborating, and providing equipment. Like the seashore has equipment, firefighting equipment for the fire roads, stuff like that. And sometimes they would lend that equipment to towns and the other way around, with water trucks and stuff like that.
It sounds like it's proactivity that is needed for the.
Yes, and I think they're recognizing now that, I think the Commissioner Flynn said something like, 10 years from now, we may be in the same situation as the West.
Mhm.
And so we have time to really kind of it's urgent that we need to do it, but we have time to do it.
Mhm.
We just need to put the resources together, to get it done.
Just to interject for a moment. We probably all know this, but Dave Creary is an Eastham resident.
Yes, yeah. It was very much advertised as such at the event, yes.
Okay, members, any other comments or things you want to bring up before we close up? All right. As always, many activities on this. And good.
Yeah.
Okay, our next meeting is actually the third Monday of the month. We normally on the second month, but because of Indigenous Peoples' Day, this is the date for next month, all right? So mark your calendars. I don't hear any other comments. I will make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
I
All right.
Meeting adjourned.